Kody Brown's family from Sister Wives is facing difficulties once more. Kody expels Robyn from the residence using a sneaker. Kody Brown, a star of the reality show Sister Wives, recently made a move that has astonished many. There are allegations that Kody expelled his wife, Robyn Brown, from their residence. The incident arises from a significant conflict around familial assets. Sources indicate that Robyn Brown sought to assume ownership of all of Kody's valuable properties under his name. Kody has unequivocally stated that he will never repeat the previous error he committed in the name of love. Kody stated, "You may possess some property if you desire, but not extensively. I can transfer a portion of land in Arizona to your name." However, Robyn is allegedly entirely resistant to this proposition. He has explicitly stated his unwillingness to accept any property in Arizona. Insiders report that the event has exacerbated the tension in Kody and Robyn's relationship. The future of their relationship remains uncertain. The Arizona sun scorched the Brown family's expansive desert estate, although within the house, the emotional temperature was even more intense. Kody Brown, the formerly esteemed patriarch of the Sister Wives family, was pacing angrily in the living room. The tension had been escalating for weeks, but today's events would reverberate throughout the entire Pauley family. Robyn Brown maintained her position in the kitchen, arms crossed and gaze furrowed. "I have made sacrifices comparable to, if not greater than, those of others," she retorted. "I am entitled to security. I desire the Flagstaff house and the adjacent land near Coyote Pass. In my name." Kody halted abruptly, his lengthy, graying hair cascading over his visage. "Safety," he stated, his voice elevating. "Do you believe that seizing all my assets will provide a sense of security? You desire everything, precisely as Christine predicted." The reference to Christine's name simply exacerbated the situation. Robyn's visage turned crimson. "Do not involve her in this matter. I have remained loyal to you while others have departed. I provided you with a genuine marriage." Kody emitted a caustic laugh. "Am I expected to compensate you by relinquishing my entire future?" "Negative, Robyn. I have ceased making decisions based on guilt." As the dispute escalated, it took an unforeseen, rather bizarre direction. In a fit of rage, Kody removed one of his leather shoes and hurled it across the room, not directed at Robyn, but out of sheer exasperation. Regrettably, the sneaker struck the wall adjacent to Robyn and ricocheted towards her. She inhaled sharply and retreated. "Did you just throw a shoe at me?" she exclaimed, her voice filled with horror and amazement. "I did not target you," Kody exclaimed. "Perhaps it is time for you to vacate this residence temporarily. I require solitude. We require space." Robyn's eyes brimmed with tears. "After all this duration, you instruct me to depart? I supported you while others did not. I provided you with everything. And now you seek to reclaim everything in exchange," Kody responded, his voice subdued yet more severe than before. "I will provide you with a parcel of land in Arizona. This is my ultimate proposal. Accept it, or gather your belongings and leave." However, Robyn remained resolute. "I have no desire for any land in Arizona," she retorted. "Do you believe that offering me leftover dessert rectifies the situation?" The residence became quiet. It was the stillness that ensues exclusively after an explosion has occurred. Several hours later, a suitcase rested near the entrance. Robyn, still seething, departed without uttering another word. The paparazzi subsequently photographed her residing at a neighboring motel. Fans conjectured online. Was this the conclusion? Was Kody on the verge of losing his final and preferred wife? Meanwhile, within the residence, Kody sat in solitude, gazing at the craggy Arizona skyline. "I devoted all my efforts to this family," he murmured. Ultimately, it may have been insufficient. Speculation proliferated in the subsequent weeks. Robyn was observed seeking legal counsel. Kody convened with Janelle and Mary, reviving former connections in an apparent display of desperation. For the first time, the hitherto unyielding Brown father seemed genuinely shattered. As Season 20 of Sister Wives approaches its premiere, viewers are confronted with a pressing question. Is this truly the conclusion of Robyn and Kody's relationship, or only the onset of a more tumultuous chapter? Nonetheless, months had elapsed since Kody Brown formally separated from 3 of his 4 spouses. The emotional upheaval remained recent, yet as time elapsed, new difficulties began to emerge, and this time, they were unrelated to love. The matter pertained to finances. Kody sat solitary in his new home office in Flagstaff, encircled by documents, receipts, and emails. His brows knitted as he perused financial documents. Christine requested an evaluation of communal assets. Janelle sought her share from their collective investments. Mary, although predominantly reserved, had suggested a need for assistance in her bed and breakfast enterprise. Kody murmured to himself, "She has never requested much." However, they all now desire something. I sense their approach. They are encircling. In a confessional segment, Kody expressed, "I devoted my life to this family, my time, my energy, my heart. It now feels as though I am being regarded as a mere financial resource." It appears they all anticipated the breakup just to profit from it. Meanwhile, Christine reclined in her comfortable new living room in Utah, sipping herbal tea while conversing with the producers. "I desire nothing that does not belong to me," she stated, her tone composed yet resolute. "However, I invested in our family and our residences. I reared children, assisted in family management, and occasionally provided financial support. Kody see it as an assault, however I consider it justice." Conversely, Janelle was more forthright. "He exhibits paranoia," she remarked with a sigh. "This matter does not pertain to retribution or financial gain. It pertains to equity. We constructed that empire collaboratively. I am now requesting my portion. Not $1 more." In Flagstaff, Kody convened a meeting, a rare and awkward gathering of the former partners. The atmosphere was charged. Robyn positioned herself next to him, arms folded, observing his every action. "I require clarification regarding this matter," Kody stated, surveying the room. "Is this an attempt to exploit financial gain? Is that my current status in your perception?" Christine's eyes expanded in astonishment. "Is that true? Do you believe we orchestrated this akin to a heist?" Janelle crossed her arms. "We are endeavoring to ensure our futures. Do you believe we did not make sacrifices? Do we not merit what is just?" Mary stayed silent for the majority of the time, but when she eventually articulated her thoughts, her voice trembled with passion. "You consistently perceived us as wives rather than as partners. If you comprehended, you would recognize the rationale behind our request for what is rightfully ours." The dispute escalated. Voices elevated, past injuries reawakened. Robyn attempted to interfere, but her remarks only exacerbated the situation. Later that evening, Kody sat outdoors, gazing at the Arizona night sky. The burden of decades of intertwined existence, now accompanied by fractured trust, weighed hard upon him. Kody talked softly, almost introspectively, during his final confessional of the episode. "I am uncertain whether they loved me, or merely the life we constructed. I may simply be apprehensive that ultimately, I was merely a provider, never truly a husband." Next week on Sister Wives, Christine challenges Robyn regarding an enigmatic financial choice. Janelle seeks legal counsel, and Kody presents a startling plan to permanently divide the assets. Nonetheless, as the Arizona sun began to rise, Janelle stood on the porch of her little rental, holding a steaming mug of coffee. The previous year was tumultuous, marked by sorrow, insights, and ultimately, acceptance. The plural existence she had cherished no longer possessed the same warmth. The communal holidays, the strained communication, and the incessant conflict with Kody had exhausted her. The moment called for audacity. Her choice to relocate east had astonished the family. Kody had objected. "Janelle, you are unfamiliar with anyone out there." Robyn had presented a strained smile. Christine was the one individual to encourage, "Go for it, Janelle. You merit your own narrative." 6 months later, Janelle resided in a quaint seaside town in Virginia, distant from the arid heat and emotional turmoil of Flagstaff. The village was tranquil, situated between undulating hills and the Atlantic coast, where the air was infused with the scent of salt and renewal. She had rented an appealing brick house encircled by dogwood trees, providing plenty space for her books, gardening aspirations, and ambitions. She secured a new position at a local community nonprofit, where she organized food drives, mentored single mothers, and assisted in establishing a women's self-reliance initiative. The women, many of whom were unfamiliar with plural marriage, did not perceive her as a former sister wife. Instead, they regarded her as a formidable individual, resilient, sympathetic, and vibrant. Janelle started chronicling her adventure on social media. She titled it Rooted and Rising, a blog and video diary in which she disseminated her gardening advice, wellness experiences, and emotional healing journey. To her astonishment, thousands of women began to follow her. Numerous individuals were previous fundamentalists, others were divorced, while others experienced a sense of disorientation in midlife. Janelle emerged as their guiding light. On a specific morning, she filmed an emotional video entitled, Starting Over at 50. Seated by the lake and enveloped in a warm shawl, she expressed her innermost feelings. I didn't abandon my family. I rediscovered myself. For years, I believed that serenity was achieved by submitting and prioritizing others. However, I have discovered that tranquility arises from a sense of purpose. In Virginia, I am constructing a life that belongs to me. The video achieved viral status. Regional news organizations reported on her narrative. She received invitations to address women's conferences throughout the state. Janelle, formerly recognized solely as Kody Brown's second spouse, was suddenly emerging as a public speaker, an advocate, and a representation of autonomy. However, not all aspects were uncomplicated. There were days when she profoundly missed her children. Days when she contemplated whether she had made the correct decision. On her son Garrison's birthday, she wept alone in the kitchen while preparing his favorite chocolate cake, acutely aware of his absence hundreds of miles away. However, he subsequently made a call. "Mother, I take pride in you," he stated. "You are ultimately embracing your true self." As autumn arrived, transforming the area with shades of orange and scarlet, Janelle stood at a stage at the Women Who Rise Symposium in Richmond. Gazing at the multitude of ladies, she grinned and commenced her narrative, not with a segment on polygamy, but with a segment on courage. In Flagstaff, Kody observed Janelle's video one tranquil evening. He refrained from communicating with anyone. For the first time in months, he murmured, "She truly accomplished it." Christine, observing from her own living room, applauded with joy. Janelle, in the East, commenced her new chapter, one characterized by autonomy, passion, and a future articulated in her own terms. Nonetheless, the sun was sinking over Flagstaff, Arizona, illuminating the expansive shared residence of the Brown family with a golden glow. It was intended to serve as a sanctuary, a representation of unity among a diverse family. However, throughout the past year, the walls resonated not with laughter, but with stillness and concealed truths. Kody Brown has consistently upheld the tenet of plural marriage, viewing it not merely as a religious obligation but as a lifestyle conducive to fostering a large, affectionate family. At one time, he had 4 spouses: Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn. However, over time, the equilibrium began to alter. Affection transformed into partiality. Respect transformed into animosity. Kody, formerly regarded as the cohesive force inside the family, suddenly appeared to be the divisive element fragmenting it. Janelle remained silent on the terrace as her grandchildren engaged in play in the yard. She had consistently been the pragmatic individual, constructing the family finances, orchestrating order amidst chaos, and unifying everyone with a composed demeanor. Yet, she could no longer refute the reality. The family was disintegrating. Christine had departed, establishing a new existence in Utah. Mary exhibited emotional detachment and communicated just when required. Robyn was now the sole wife residing permanently with Kody. The others experienced a sense of abandonment, neglected. Janelle's heart grieved, not solely for herself, but for the collective aspiration they had cherished. On a brisk fall evening, Robyn communicated in the family group chat, "Family meeting scheduled for tomorrow evening. No exceptions. It is time for discussion." The family had not convened for a comprehensive meeting in almost 2 years. Intrigue coupled with apprehension. The subsequent evening, the wives arrived individually. Mary sat opposite Janelle, arms crossed. Kody positioned himself at the table's forefront, exhibiting noticeable anxiety. Robyn was beside to him, appearing sorrowful. "I have erred," Kody began, his tone unexpectedly gentle. "I cannot continue to feign that we are a family while we lead disparate lives." Christine stated during the video conversation, her expression composed yet resolute. "We were once a family. However, you choose one spouse over all the others." Robyn succumbed to despair, exclaiming, "Now you are losing all of us." "I did not request this. I never desired to be the sole survivor." However, Mary said, her tone incisive, "You needn't have inquired. It occurred suddenly. Gradually. You and Kody excluded the rest of us." The meeting was poignant, yet it did not foster greater intimacy among them. It unequivocally revealed the extent of their divergence. On that night, Janelle resolved to take action. The following morning, she loaded her RV and departed eastward, towards North Carolina, where her son Logan had lately relocated. She did not inform Kody in person. Janelle left a note on the kitchen table. "Kody, I have been devoted to this family for over 25 years. However, I can no longer remain loyal to a dream that has dissipated. I deserve tranquility. I deserve joy. Please do not pursue me." As her RV departed from the driveway, Janelle experienced an unusual blend of sorrow and liberation. The desert behind her contained memories, yet the path ahead offered something novel. Mary relocated to a modest cabin in Utah and established a bed and breakfast. She commenced composing a memoir, recounting her narrative of loss, development, and tenacity. Christine, now flourishing, discovered love anew with a man who embraced her as she is. Her girls excelled academically, and she commenced delivering speeches at women's empowerment events. Robyn continued her association with Kody, however their relationship was becoming tenuous. The aspiration for multiple marriage appeared vacuous in the absence of others. Kody commenced interrogating every aspect. Was this the divine intention? Or was it an examination he had not passed? 1 year later, the women convened for a weekend retreat, not as co-wives, but as sisters. They chuckled. They wept. They exchanged wine, narratives, and restoration. They were no longer united by a single husband. Rather, they were united by their common history, their struggles, and their resilience. Ultimately, the Brown family did not endure as a collective entity. From the remnants of a shattered aspiration, 4 formidable women discovered renewed identities and a redefined concept of family. Nonetheless, the summer sun illuminated the expansive Arizona sky as Christine stood on the porch of her new residence, enveloped in tranquility and the scent of newly planted lavender. Her life underwent a significant transformation in recent years, shifting from pain and confusion to clarity and new beginnings. At the core of her newfound joy was one individual, David Woolley. David was unlike any of the individuals she had previously encountered. Previously perceiving herself as a secondary choice, she suddenly occupied the position of someone's primary and sole preference. Following the emotional upheaval of her years with Kody, Christine had renounced love. However, David arrived, not with assurances, but with steadfast strength, resolute presence, and a heart that restored her faith. Today was an extraordinary day. The cameras were not operational. Family members were not discussing plural weddings. This pertained solely to David and Christine and the life they were constructing from the ground up. It was uncomplicated, devoid of elaborate public displays or concealed motives. One evening, while they strolled through a tranquil area of Sedona, David halted and faced Christine. The crimson cliffs illuminated behind them, as if the dying light recognized the sanctity of the occasion. "Christine," he stated, his voice unwavering and his gaze earnest, "I aspire to dedicate my life to ensuring you feel secure, cherished, and respected. I do not wish to share you. I do not require multiple spouses. I require your presence. Will you consent to wed me?" Christine was astonished, not due to lack of anticipation, but because of the profound tranquility that enveloped her. For the first time in decades, she felt no compulsion to struggle for selection. She was all ready. "Yes," she murmured, her voice trembling with elation. Affirmative, unequivocally. The announcement of their engagement reverberated across the sister wives community. Janelle was elated and even volunteered to assist in organizing the wedding. Mary, despite her reticence, conveyed a heartfelt word of congratulations to her. Kody, however, did not answer. Yet, Christine had ceased anticipating such closure long ago. In a private TLC interview, when David was queried about his apprehensions of marrying someone with a complex history, his response dispelled any uncertainties. "I'm 100% certain about Christine. Her history does not intimidate me. It has shaped her into the lady I adore. I do not observe any luggage. I perceive valor." Enthusiasts were enraptured. Social media proliferated. "What about Christine?" She wept while smiling as she watched the interview, with truly nestled by her. The event took place on a serene property in Utah, where Christine had long envisioned establishing her home. The guest list was limited to children, intimate friends, several former sister wives, cast members, and an abundance of affection. David donned a navy suit, complemented by a modest wooden ring fashioned from a tree on Christine's childhood estate. Christine radiated in a lace gown, clutching a bouquet of wildflowers. The officiant inquired of David whether he vowed to respect Christine as his equal and to love her throughout all phases of life. David affirmed without hesitation, "With all that I am and all that I possess, I do." "I have never been more certain of anything." Currently, the couple resides together in an exquisite residence near Moab. They cultivate a garden collaboratively, maintain beehives, and travel whenever possible. David regards Christine with utmost reverence, not out of duty, but because he perceives her as a queen. She frequently offers insights into their life on social media, breakfasts on the porch, affectionate letters from David, and hearty laughter that stems from genuine freedom. Christine never anticipated that her fulfillment would arise from departing the life she believed she was destined to lead. David demonstrated that love often arrives unexpectedly, manifesting only when one has created space for the type one genuinely merits. What about David? He remains unequivocally certain.
Each
Unmarried.
day.
This fictional narrative, influenced by sister wives, conveys that love is not defined by what one evades, but rather by what one ultimately discovers. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina, and I hope your day is going splendidly. If you like the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel.